Star Trek Picard keeps serving up Easter eggs for longtime Trek fans, from nods to Picard and Worf's family histories to a notable figure from the original series. It also has Brent Spiner playing yet another character in a Star Trek show. Here's all the references you may have missed. In the 5th episode of Season 2, we finally learn more about what the crew must do to get back to 2024, and the reason for the divergence in the timeline. We learn that the woman reading a Dixon Hill novel in the previous episode wasn't just a random passerby. She's Renee Picard, an important thread in the tapestry of history and a key figure in the family tree of Jean-Luc Picard. She is the lead astronaut for the upcoming Europa mission, which we now know is more than a simple Easter egg referencing the series' fictional history of spaceflight. It is also a critical moment in the development of Earth toward their brighter future. Renee Picard also fits in nicely to what we know of Picard's ancestors. In the TNG episode Family, we met his brother and nephew, and it was said that Picard's exploration of space went against the family's tradition. We know from the episode Journey's End that he was descended from a 17th century Spanish soldier, Javier Maribona Picard, while a later Picard fought for the French at the Battle of Trafalgar. In the film Star Trek Nemesis, Picard looked back at his family history and noted there weren't many Picards who were explorers. He was one of the few who was.
I was the first Picard to leave our solar system. It caused quite a stir in the family.
It would seem that Renee Picard, who shares a first name with Jean-Luc's male nephew, Rene, seems to fit in perfectly on the Picard family tree. While she is apparently one of the rare explorers that Captain Picard mentioned, it seems her exploration will be limited to our own solar system. Since arriving in the 21st century, Picard and the crew of the La Sirena have been seeking a mysterious being called the Watcher. After Guinan leads Picard to her doorstep, we're finally introduced to a woman who somehow bears the likeness of Picard's Romulan companion, Laris. But this is not Laris, as the Watcher, who introduces herself as Talon, seems as mystified as we are by the resemblance. Instead, she describes herself as a supervisor of earthly events. She has been assigned the task of watching over historical events and monitoring the destiny of Renee Picard in particular, who she describes as a single thread of the tapestry of history. Picard recognizes Talon's self-description right away, recalling a similar human who was once encountered by Kirk's Enterprise.
Gary 7. He too was recruited by superior beings as an agent who would, in your words, protect the tapestry of history.
This is the season's second reference to Kirk's adventures on the Enterprise, this time a nod to the episode Assignment Earth. The episode saw Kirk and crew travel back to 1968, where they met a man called Gary 7, who also called himself Supervisor, tasked with completing another agent's mission to ensure that humans did not annihilate each other in nuclear war. With the revelation of the Watcher as one of Gary 7's people, we now know that the Supervisors do more than just help mankind on a broad historical level. They are also on Earth to watch over and protect important individuals whose lives could impact the Earth's destiny. We had heard that actor Brent Spiner would be reappearing in Season 2 even before it began, but some fans had assumed that he would be reprising his role from Season 1 as Altan Inigo Soong, the son of Data's creator Noonien Soong. Instead, he plays someone from much earlier, Adam Soong, one of the scientist's ancestors. We saw a glimpse of him in the dark future with a holographic monument to a man named Adam Soong who preached that a safe galaxy is a human galaxy. Now we meet Adam Soong in the flesh, who is not a man far from the future, but rather our present. In 2024, the ancestor of Noonien Soong is a scientist and geneticist apparently looking for a cure for his daughter, played by Issa Briones. This human daughter suffers from a rare condition that makes sunlight fatal to her. In this episode, Soong is a leading geneticist with delusions of curing all of the world's diseases with his research into eugenics. This meshes with the universe's fictional history, specifically the aftermath of the 1990s eugenics wars. This also tracks with what we know of the Soongs, and like Renee Picard, Adam Soong fits perfectly within the Soong family tree. On Star Trek Enterprise, set less than 150 years into Adam Soong's future, his descendant Eric Soong is a brilliant genetic researcher, a mad scientist who genetically altered embryos to become human super soldiers. It would seem now that the Soong family's obsession with improving humanity stretched further back than we ever suspected. Ultimately, this Soong has his medical license revoked for a number of ethical violations. Adam Soong's work in eugenics leads to a number of important breakthroughs, but it hasn't been without its controversy either. Having apparently experimented on ex-soldiers through a private contractor, he's been brought before a medical review board to explain himself. Among the panelists, however, is a man with a surname that fans of the next generation should know well. The dark-haired man sits silently with a cold stare, and his nameplate reads Vasily Rozhenko, Vice Chair. This cannot be anything other than an Easter egg referencing TNG's Lieutenant Worf, the orphaned Klingon officer. After being found by humans at the site of the Kidabur massacre as a child, Worf was raised by human foster parents on Earth, a kind Russian couple named Sergei and Helena Rozhenko. Sergei, of course, appeared in the episode Family, mostly a story about Jean-Luc Picard returning to France, but in the B story, Worf has a reunion with his Earth parents too. We learn that Sergei was an enlisted Starfleet crewman aboard the USS Intrepid, and after marrying Helena, they had one biological son, Nikolai, who was played by Paul Sorvino in the episode Homeward. Later, Worf's son Alexander would take the Rozhenko surname as well. Little else was revealed about the Rozhenko family on TNG, but here we learn they have a rich family history, with Vasily being an important figure in the world's medical community in 2024. Vasily Rozhenko wasn't the only Easter egg on the medical review board, though. The panel's chairman is a woman named Diane Werner, and her appearance is a clever nod to the series' time travel roots. Not just any guest star. The woman who plays Werner is an actress with some experience in time travel shenanigans herself. She also happens to be the woman who directed the episode, and the episode prior, Leah Thompson. Science fiction fans will know the name from the 1980s time travel trilogy, Back to the Future, where Thompson played Marty McFly's mother, Lorraine McFly.
You know what I do in those situations?
What?
I don't worry.
With episodes of Star Trek Picard under her belt, she's re-entered the world of science fiction on the other side of the camera this time. A perfect fit for the woman who starred opposite Michael J. Fox in one of the most celebrated time travel classics. Now that Picard has discovered the Watcher and learned just who and what their mission to restore history involves, he gathers the La Sirena crew to go over a plan of action. Some, including Rios, are perplexed at how Renee Picard, a single woman, could be so crucial to history that she's the difference between a bright and hopeful future and a dark, totalitarian nightmare reality. Picard says he's not sure how or why his ancestor is so important either, but he knows there's a reason why she's apparently so unknown. As he reminds the crew, the history of this time period is wildly incomplete.
The century leading up to First Contact was just rife with chaos.
And Picard would know, as this is a clear reference to the events he took part in during the film Star Trek First Contact, another time travel story that saw the Enterprise go back to 2063, just 39 years after this episode is set. In that time, it's said that the Earth was still recovering from the Third World War, and most records of the era were lost or incomplete. Here, all Picard claims to know of his ancestor is that she commanded the Europa mission, and that while exploring the solar system, it was said that she discovered a microorganism that she believed was sentient. Clearly, this is a hint of things to come in the second half of Season 2, but if Trek history is anything to go by, it sounds like records of the day will be lost during a major global catastrophe. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies and TV shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.